All right, today's video is all about new builds, Architerra Homes specifically. Let's go check them out. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the notifications bell so you can stay up to date on all of our latest content. Our team gets calls, texts, and emails every single day from people just like you trying to learn more about North Idaho. So if you're thinking about making the move right now or 12 months from now, give us a call, text, or email.
All right, so today we're in Foxtail neighborhood in Post Falls with Architerra Home Builders. They are a local company based out of Quartz, Idaho over here, and they build in a few different neighborhoods. Foxtail, now Foxtail North, we're just to the north of us. You got Parkllyn, and then you've got the trails in Coeur d'Alene. So let's go check out one of the models called the Sheridan, and I'll tell you the kind of things that separate Architerra from the others. All right, so Seth's still taller than me, but he's still wearing pants when it's 85 degrees. But anyway, so I physically have a house over in Foxtail, and I personally bought Architerra for a few different reasons. I'm gonna tell you why, what makes them stand out. One of the biggest things is their exteriors. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about hardy backer or hardy plank boarding, which is a concrete fiber siding. They don't use that. They actually use a brand called Alene. And the reason they do that is because they wanted a matching exterior. So all of the trim here you see, all of the siding, and even in the soffit, and everything exterior is all concrete based. So you do not have any wood on the exteriors of these houses. So when it's the sun's hitting obviously right now, Seth feels it the most, but when the sun hits on different style surfaces, they all expand and contract in the sun and in the winter. What's nice about these houses, they kind of all expand the same rates because it's the same product. So one of their big things was these are all concrete soffits and everything like that. So you don't have any wood fibers splitting or anything like that. It still requires the same amount of maintenance, if you will. If you chip this, you'll want to throw some paint up on there so you don't get any water penetration. But that was one of the biggest things that I noticed about Architerra from other builders in the area.
What about the backyards? Can we go check that out?
Yeah, let's go check out the backyard. Okay. But on this lot, it's a little not as deep as what they usually do, is because we have a street called Hope right behind us. So typically they were always the 65 feet wide to 110 or 120 feet deep, depending on the plat and everything like that. But these, I don't know if these are the 110s. Based off of it being next to Hope, it's probably 110. So
well, let's find out.
Check it out. All right, so we're in the backyard of the Sheridan right here on Cypress Fox. And one thing that also kind of makes Architerra different in this kind of category of homes was you always had a covered back porch. It always depended on the size, the different model. In this one, we also have a finished backyard and a finished vinyl fence. In this CC&R, you do have a requirement to be a tan fence. So the builder traditionally always just put that in and added that into the cost of the house. And then they used to use hydro seed, but they got away from that because warranties on a hydro seed are an absolute nightmare for the builder and the homeowner. So they just started using sod completely with a fully landscaped sprinkler with sprinklers and stuff like that.
This is actually a bigger yard than I pictured.
Yeah, well, with the Sheridan, you have basically it's a square.
Okay.
Right, because it's a tall house. It's 2,970 square feet or 2,920 square feet. So it's a big square that's built up versus the one next to us right here. It's a little deeper. And so that's why they have less of a backyard, because the foundation of the house is different.
What's the range in house sizes overall between all of the Architerra things?
So
they make much smaller ones too.
Yeah, so you've got 1,857, and then you got all the way up to the Acadia, which was about 2,999, almost 3,005 square feet, so depending on the model and stuff like that. And they also do finished basements. And another thing we're gonna talk about is their finished basements are 9-foot ceilings in their basement. So usually people do like a 7-foot lid or an 8-foot lid and have HVAC running through it. So you'd have like depressions in 7 feet, but they always do 9 foot. So you have 9 foot downstairs, 9 foot upstairs, and if it has a basement, it also has 9 feet. So you don't feel like you're in an actual basement.
That's fantastic.
So, and we're gonna try to get in one of those later.
Cool.
The Bridger's kitchen. The Bridger is a really popular plan. It's a main floor master and it's a main full of laundry, and it's got an office downstairs. Upstairs is 2 bedrooms and a full bath. So if you got kids or an in-law suite, that's great for them coming into town. But the best thing about the Bridger, in my opinion, is this kitchen. You could lay 2 Johns across this island and you'd still have room. I always joked with people when they came in here is if they could fill every cabinet, I'd buy them appliance to help fill it more, because there's so much cabinet space, there's so much quartz on here. So this is how they usually build the full height backsplashes of tile, quartz or granite throughout. You're gonna have true LVP flooring throughout the house, and then everything upstairs is gonna be carpeting, but it's gonna be the flooring in the bathroom up there.
Is this typical finish quality for them?
Yeah, this is they use Huntwood. You're gonna either get a backyard or you won't get a backyard. This one specifically doesn't have a backyard put in there, but I always just tell people you can always ask for it or get a quote for it during escrow if you want. But they kind of always do a really good job with the fireplaces too. One thing that's really cool is that Smurf tube right there that you don't have to worry about running wires. It pops out right there, so it's got that flexible tubing that you can run HDMI.
Does anybody actually run wires anymore?
I think, you know what, that's a good point. I used to never either, but I actually started hardwiring my internet into my TV a lot faster.
Okay.
So 2 months ago, I'd have told you no, but I started doing hardwire straight into the TV, and it's a lot more seamless and faster.
Question, are quartz countertops through the bathrooms as well?
Yeah, so
nothing drives me crazier than when you have a quartz countertop in the kitchen.
And the linoleum in the master. Yeah. No, it's gonna be matching. They have a very good continuity. So if you have that quartz in the kitchen, it's gonna be in the primary bath. It's gonna be usually if there's any sink or anything like that in the laundry, and then upstairs too, or downstairs in the other bathrooms, it'll be matching.
Do you know price range of this one off the top of your head?
This one, I believe, last time I checked, was $620 to $640.
Okay,
yeah.
And things can change rapidly in this new housing market. So if we say a number on here and it's different when you call us later to sell you a home, just know that things can change.
Things go up and down all the time, especially going towards winter. We're in October, I'm still wearing shorts because it's 80 degrees. But once we go towards winter, then you may see a price decrease, or a lot of times they'll throw concessions. For example, they threw in the grass on the Sheridan across the street we were just at, but this one doesn't have any grass. So they'll do little things like that to try to increase the movement of properties.
That's why it's important when you guys go, if you decide you want to go Architerra, call us so that you have outside representation. We do not work for Architerra, right? We are our own business. So it's important to have your own representation when you guys go into a real estate transaction so that you can ask for things like that.
Yeah, and I used to work alongside Architerra for 4 years, so I'm kind of know a lot of how they work and how the quality is and stuff like that, and I can tell you that they stand by their name and they're a very good company. All right, so we're at Foxtail North, so the new style of Architerras are coming out. They kind of do a different release of new models like every 1 to 2 years. So we're in the new, obviously, where they do the foundations and crawl spaces. So another cool thing about Architerras is usually they either do basements or they do crawl spaces. They don't do too many slab on grades much anymore, but I do like having a crawl space as a homeowner. It allows you a lot ease to run wire under the house, run plumbing out of the house. When TDS came and did fiber in my house, they actually went underneath my house and rerouted the entire fiber line underneath the house. So on a slab on grade, it might get a little difficult to do that, other than you'd probably just go along the side of the house. But if you have floor creaks or something like that, if you have floor creak on slab, you're kind of screwed. But if you have floor creaks in here, it's easy to go in there and wedge and screw down the floor better. But yeah, one of the cool things is how deep their crawl spaces are. So I'm the type of person where I like to see all phases of a build and kind of show highlights of the framing, the foundations and stuff like that. So yeah, right above us to the north here is Rathdrum Mountain. and then you've got Kootenai Medical Center going, and their little sub medical center right there.
Oh, okay, so 41 and
Yep.
Prairie.
There's Peck and Peck.
Yeah.
And then that's 41 and Prairie right there.
Okay.
So you're gonna have they have Peak Fitness. You got a nice charter school there.
So proximity-wise, we're in a really good location.
Yeah, if you're in the medical community or something like that, or if you already work at Kootenai, you can walk to work. Winter might be a little fun, but you'll burn more calories. So yeah, we're over here at what they call the Hangout Park in Echelon. So Echelon is their rental neighborhood in Architerra. So it's this entire area is all Echelon and all rentals. They're high-end rentals. Like, it's not where you come to not spend a lot of money, but it's a very nice, well-kept community. One thing we're here checking out is one of the cool parks. So Hangout Park is definitely one of my kids' favorites when we lived over here. And they got hammocks throughout. They've got cornholes. They got these really cool, like, modern style gyms. And then you've got all these nice tables with, of course, Architerra's logo on them, and then some barbecues.
This is a sweet spot, actually.
Yeah, no, it's super cool.
Very clean.
It's really nice for these communities because they can walk out their front door and watch their kids from the balcony over here, and they can be at the park, and it's a really safe neighborhood. I know that's a big thing with a lot of our watchers, our subscribers, is safety, and this is a very safe neighborhood. So these are all rear entry style homes, but super clean, and they do a good job.
Nice. No bumps, too. That's cool.
No. Hey, so we're over here at Parkllyn Estates. So the difference between Parkllyn and Parkllyn Estates is Parkllyn is like your 1/8 acre, your typical single level size lots. And over here in Parkllyn Estates, you have the 1/4 acre and you got 1/2 acres. So those two streets are Andromeda and Cassiopeia. So
why are some 1/4 and some 1/2?
okay, so good question. So across the street on Meyer, you've got the larger horse properties and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, rumor on the street was when the developer wanted to purchase this land, they made it in the either the bylaws or something where the CC&Rs stated that it had to be a flow of property sizes. So across Meyer, you got the 1 to 5 acre parcels. And then over here, you got the 1/2 acres on the east side of Cassiopeia. And then across the street is the 1/4 acres.
Okay.
So the 1/4 acres were in like the 2022, 2023, and 2024 ranges. They all came with shops. So they always came with a 24 wide by 26 deep shop that matched the house. And then you got fencing in those and stuff like that. Nowadays, they're doing some more 1/2 acre stuff and 1/4 and 1/3 acre as you go down Cassiopeia and Andromeda down here. That will be either 1/2 on this side, 1/3 or 1/4, depending on. There's a house down there that's a 1/3 acre, but it's the same size houses and stuff like that. It's just on these, they all had basements. So that house is 5,300 square foot. Well, the one next door to that's 3,900 square foot. So really wide range of property sizes that they offer.
Do you know rough price ranges? These are all sold, so it'd be
Yeah.
resale at that point.
Yeah, so the last one just sold. I believe that was the last one that just sold down there. They were $950 to 1.1 for the 1/2 acres. For the 1/4 acres, you're in that $870 to $950 range. Stuff like that. So it's not a little bit of money here. We're talking a high-end home, and with great finishes. So they justify it with obviously the land of the 1/2 acres too. But one cool thing about this area of what we liked is obviously live in Foxtail. So one thing that's cool is we just passed the school, Treaty Rock Elementary. It's a kindergarten through 5th grade. I personally really like the school. I think the teachers are pretty engaged and they do a lot of fun stuff there. My kids are there right now, but when they purchased this whole area, the developer donated that land to the county so they could build a school.
Oh, cool.
So it's a really cool school. We're not gonna go video a school because that's just weird.
Yeah, we don't do that. But it's cool that, it's super walkable. Like,
Yes.
This is North Idaho, it's very safe. I would be very comfortable with my kids living in this neighborhood, walking to school by themselves.
Yeah.
Even in 5th grade, at a young age.
And if you want chickens, the new Idaho law says CC&Rs can't say anything about chickens. So there's quite a bit of neighborhoods that have chickens. Yeah, I'm not going to say who because I'm not that guy. But I do get chickens from this vicinity where I am.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
That's a big prerequisite for a lot of people.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I want to move up here. I want to raise chickens.
Yep.
And apparently you can do it here. Cool.
Okay. All right. So we are at the Dig Park right here in like the Echelon Parkllyn area right here. Across the street is the school we mentioned, Treaty Rock. She's not going to turn around because that'd be awkward. But we're in the Dig Park, so it's kind of cool. Like, you know, you got young kids like myself. They like coming over here in the sand pit right here. There's like fossilized concrete bones. There's like fake dinosaur tracks and stuff like that in here. It's just a cool place to, like, we always ride our bikes right here to play in this thing. You got swings and you got this spinatron from hell that gets you dizzier than anything. But, you know, one thing, you know, we were talking about on the ride over here is one thing this builder does really cool is obviously we have a really close relationship with Loan Depot, right? Ivan and Reno over there in Coeur d'Alene, and they do rate blocks. And so they'll team up with the developer, the builder, Architerra, and they'll do special rates and stuff like that on a house. I know you had a client that got locked in. You can talk about that.
Yeah, we got them locked in at 3.99%. There was a concession that it was all done through Loan Depot, and it worked out really well for this client because they were in that low $400,000 price range, which is a very tough price range in North Idaho, unfortunately.
Especially new housing.
Yes, so we were under contract with a used home, and it was disappointing how beat up that house was. And I think once they saw it in person, it was like, man, like I could see on their faces how disappointed they were.
Drain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we canceled that contract right when one of those amazing rate deals came out through Loan Depot, and they were able to bump up price range above where they could have been because the rates were so much less. So they ended up with actually, I think, a lesser payment than they would have had on the other home, and they're moving into a brand new house with all of these parks around. They're super excited. So I was very happy for them.
And a warranty. I mean, that's a lot of times I talk about when I used to work with Architerras. One thing was nice is that year warranty where they'd come in and fix drywall cracks. They would fix foundational issues, God forbid if there was one, paint touch up, stuff like that. It's like, that stuff is kind of, you come in with like a breath of fresh air of like, all right, we're good for at least a year. If anything happens, the builder will come in and take care of it. And that's awesome. A lot of people don't understand when they get pre-approved for something, it's based off of that credit that day, right? So whatever the APR is that day, that's what they're getting things. So if the rate does drop, you can actually qualify for more and more of a house, more of a down payment and stuff like that. So it really makes sense when they do rate blocks, and that gets people into a nicer, newer home for a 3.99, which is honestly probably a 2/3 below what it really was.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, and they do, for all you participating, for me in Washington, obviously I'm in Idaho, they do build in Washington in Deer Park. So they do have a lot of rate specials going on right now, and hopefully they still are going on by the time this video comes out and stuff like that. But they don't hit always, but it's always a great question to call us and ask what the current rates are and what the current specials are for the areas, because we can simply call the agents and talk about the actual communication that needs to be done. So before you go visit a model home or something like that, give us a call. We'd love to talk with you guys and help whatever you guys need.
Hey, thank you guys for joining us on this video about Architerra Homes, new build homes here in North Idaho and Washington if you're looking on that side. Thank you, Scott, for all of your incredible knowledge, having worked for them before.